As you know, nowadays it seems that medicine can transplant everything such as liver, kidney, heart, etc. Even a head transplant is almost successful. But the cost is too high. But that's not the main issue we discuss in this video. The problem is that many people, after receiving other people's organs, have changed their personalities, habits and behaviors. They even feel as if there is another person living in their body. Or often feel the memories of those who have donated organs. The phenomenon of having another person living in the body of an organ recipient. Before, Jane Smann never thought she could play sports or eat Mexican food. But after the heart transplant, everything changed. She joined the baseball team, practiced swimming and never missed a soccer game on television. She loves spicy dishes of Central America. Surprised by her own change, Jane Smann researched and knew that all those habits belonged to the person who gave her the heart. He's an amateur athlete at a university in Texas. In 2006, a man with a very limited artistic ability underwent a heart transplant. Following the operation, the man was amazed to find that his artistic ability had dramatically increased. Nurses at the hospital were also astonished with his new talent. It was only after the man found out who the organ donor was that his remarkable ability began to make sense. The organ donor was a keen artist. Is it possible that the skills of the donor were passed on to the recipient through the heart? It doesn't seem possible. How can this sort of information be stored outside of the brain? 10 years ago, Dr. Hagen had a liver transplant after contracting hepatitis C as an physician. He admits he experienced new cravings after the transplant. "I never ate avocado before. Now, I eat an avocado every day," he said. "And before my transplant, I never cared for barbecue things, and after my transplant I really liked barbecue." Something else changed, too, for the veteran doctor who was trained to keep his emotions in check. "After my transplant, I found that I became very, very emotional. So much so that I could go to almost any movie and cry in the movie, and that was very unlike me." Was Dr. Hagen taking on the characteristics of his donor, a person he never knew? Another patient who received a heart transplant in 2012 said, "I dream every night. Constantly dreaming about a happy home. My wife knew about it and blamed me for not loving her anymore. I also don't want to dream like that, but when I close my eyes, those images appear. The image I dreamed of was an idyllic house in which the wife and children of the man who gave me his heart were in. He is a poor laborer's died while working as a construction worker and a fall from height." The strangest is the case that Dr. Paul Pearsall described in a book. In this case, an 8-year-old girl received the heart of another girl who died in a murder. The special thing is that the police tried to investigate for a long time but could not find the culprit. After receiving the heart, the little girl kept dreaming about scary images about the case. Police and psychologists followed the girl's description of the killer's portrait. And they actually caught the criminal easily. The perpetrator then had to confess before the exact evidence about the time, place, and weapon of the crime that the girl gave. On May 29, 1988, an American woman named Claire Sylvia received a heart transplant at a hospital in Yale, Connecticut. She was told that her donor was an 18-year-old male from Maine, USA who had just died in a motorcycle accident. Soon after the operation, Sylvia declared that she felt like drinking beer, something she hadn't particularly been fond of. Later, she observed an uncontrollable urge to eat chicken nuggets and found herself drawn to visiting the popular chicken restaurant chain, KFC. She also began craving green peppers, which she hadn't particularly liked before. Sylvia also began having recurring dreams about a mystery man named Tim L., whom she felt was the organ donor. On a cue from someone, she searched for obituaries in newspapers published from Maine and was able to identify the young man whose heart she had received. His name had indeed been Tim. After visiting Tim's family, she discovered that he used to love chicken nuggets, green peppers and beer. These experiences are documented in the book, A Change of Heart. Explain the cause. Then we will ask ourselves, why is there such an interesting phenomenon? Actually, not only you, scientists have come up with many theories to explain. But none of the theories are really reliable. 1. The first hypothesis. Scientists believe that patients are inherently desperate for incurable diseases. When they receive other people's organs, they feel like they are reborn, given a second life. Therefore, they appreciate life and are grateful to the giver. And they will do what the giver wants to do to show their gratitude. and feel life has more meaning. But this hypothesis is only true in some cases, but in the case of dreaming about the family of the deceased or the murders, it is no longer true. 2. The second hypothesis is related to donor DNA. Specifically, scientists have guessed that the DNA in cells and organs is psychologically affected by the donor while they are still alive. And when that organ is transferred to another person, it will be transferred with the psychology stored in the cell. The recipient will have a psychological part similar to the giver. But in reality, no one has proven it yet. 3. Hypothesis 3. Some psychics suggested that the heart of the donor is an object that is imbued with the psychic energy of the donor, much as a ring or other object can carry the energy of the owner. Biologist Lyle Watson suggests that physical items with which we are in intimate contact can indeed take on our emotional fingerprints and store our thoughts and feelings. And of course, scientists have yet to find a link between memory and heart cells. And if this is true, then there will be a contradiction. It's the brain, not the memory, that stores our memories. And maybe, we really love with our hearts, literally. 4. And the fourth theory is for those who believe in spirits. It is because the soul exists and resides in these organs. When one person receives another person's organs, the recipient will also receive the other person's soul. Or not fully receptive but still connected. So the other soul often asks for help with the recipients for some work. Revenge, for example, it is the case where an 8-year-old girl described the killer. What do you think about this phenomenon? Which theory do you believe more? And do you have other theories? Leave a comment to share your views. Thank you for watching the video. Goodbye and see you again.